What?
And then it falls down to a question of what's easier: enter undocumented and then seek that legal process, or
Your
enter
whole
in
argument
as
with
a
mass
legal
amnesty
immigrant in
is
the
way
first
faster
place.
than just doing the legal like your argument is way faster, right? So then why would
Than the
anybody want to
current
go
legal
through the legal
process.
process?
Than the current legal process. And I think that we
Okay,
should
and we don't
also
have that
expedite
current
the
legal
current
process.
legal process.
Okay, so we don't have that legal process. So
Yeah, just like we
we
don't have
can't.
amnesty. I'm talking about what I think is best fit for American immigration policy moving forward. We don't have either amnesty nor an expedited pathway of residency or citizenship.
Exactly why we have mass deportation right now.
We have mass deportation because we don't have amnesty. So you're saying that you'd prefer
Exactly.
amnesty over mass deportation?
Because amnesty is not possible right now.
Why was
Why
it
would
possible in the
anybody come in
80s?
legally right now?
Then why was it possible in the 80s? Oh,
The 80s, stop bringing up times like we're talking about now.
okay.
Amnesty is not possible right
So
now, and
why
that
is
is why we
amnesty
have
not
to resort to
possible? Give an
deportation.
argument.
Because nobody would go through the actual legal process of entering our country
Okay.
if they could just waltz on over illegally and be granted the same benefits as the people who waited
Okay.
so
Check this
long
out.
to actually.
I'm
What?
gonna respond to you again. You're doing the loop thing, okay? As I already told you, and I will repeat, I don't think that amnesty on its own is the solution. Amnesty plus making the legal means of entry into this country more attainable is the solution.
Do you not think that they're working towards making it more attainable to enter the country right now?
No, not at all.
That's just like false. Like people have been working on that for the past 30 years. It's been a problem.
Go ahead. Go ahead and name one policy that Donald Trump has ever even called for to make the legal means of entry into this country faster.
I can't name a specific one.
My
I
point.
feel like
that's kind of my point here, man. See, I'm right, you're wrong.
I would disagree with that.
Okay. How can you argue that the Trump administration is working towards faster means of entry? How can you argue that if you can't even name a time Trump has stood at a podium and spoken into a mic about calling for faster means of entry? Come on, bro. Connect the goddamn dots. Do you think that I could argue that Donald Trump is like fighting for a higher federal minimum wage? No. Why? Because he's never said he is. The same way you can't argue that Donald Trump is fighting for faster means of legal entry into the country. Why? Because he's never said he is. You know? Like, come on. That's common sense. Like, really common sense.
I mean, I think that he's restricted entry from certain countries, which makes it easier to enter from other countries. He's done that.
Are you talking about his Muslim ban?
I'm not sure the exact countries that he's done.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I
You're
know that
talking about in 2015 when he said that he wants to ban all new Muslim entry from every other country on earth, and then he tried to get it done through an EO. SCOTUS ruled it as unconstitutional, so instead he just drafted a list of like 10 predominantly Muslim countries to ban entry from.
Does that not make it? I mean, I don't think that's what I was referring to.
Okay, then what are you referring to?
Actually,
the only thing that I'm familiar with is his Muslim ban, which is incredibly xenophobic, incredibly anti-American, right? Incredibly anti-religious freedom, and incredibly like anti-core like conservative American values like freedom of religion, First Amendment, patriotism, and constitutionalism.
I mean, he also, I mean, on another point is he's made the like entry to the United States be much like the Lake and Riley Act. He is stopping people at the border that have criminal records. You know what that does? That makes it easier for people who don't have criminal records.
The Lake and Riley Act sucks. I'd veto it if I was president.
Why?
Because it allows for the deportation of an undocumented immigrant on the arrest of a violent crime, not the conviction. Meaning that we're going to be deporting potential rapists and murderers to roam free on the streets of other countries because they never had an official conviction in America. All right?
Yeah, that's a lot better than having
the Lake and Riley Act.
What?
The Lake and Riley
So you're
Act.
arguing they should walk? What? That makes no sense.
No, it's absolutely not better. Yes, they should absolutely stay in the United States and go to goddamn jail. Are you kidding me?
No, we deport them. That's the whole point. Why would we want them to stay in the country?
So they are not raping women? Imagine that. Imagine that there's an undocumented immigrant that is arrested for raping a woman. per the Lake and
in a
Riley
country
Act.
that he isn't supposed
No,
to
no, no.
be in. That's common sense. If you
Per
come
the
to
Lake per the Lake and Riley Act, once an undocumented immigrant is arrested on the basis of raping a woman, they can be deported to roam free on the streets of any other country. Right? Are you sure that you want potential rapists to be roaming free on the streets of other countries? Or should we do something about it, allow them due process, allow them their day in front of a judge, allow them their day to make their case, and allow for a reliable conviction to be made so we either know they're guilty, so they could go to goddamn jail, or we know that they're innocent?
So that's once we're in jail, we're just keeping them in American jails, or should we deport them?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with keeping them in American jails. I'm fine with deporting them to another country, given that the criminal justice system there is just as reliable as ours. But I'm completely fine with my tax dollars being spent on preventing harm towards people, right? Preventing kidnaps of children, preventing raping women. Absolutely. Right. And that's why I'd veto the Lake and Riley Act. Can we now agree that the Lake and Riley Act is absolutely terrible because it'll just lead to like more innocent women being raped, more innocent children being kidnapped because we're just allowing people that we arrested for violent crimes to literally roam free on Earth?
Are you sure? I mean, I'm not 100% sure about this. Are you sure that they're just let to go walk free in other countries, or are they incarcerated in those other countries?
Why would they be incarcerated in another country on the basis of an accusation in America? I could see them being incarcerated in another country on the basis of a conviction in America, sure. On the basis of an accusation, absolutely not.
Are you 100% sure about that?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. All right, man. Well, I actually have to go do something, so I appreciate
But do you
your
agree that
time.
the Lake and Riley Act is bad now?
I have to get more educated on it.
Why
I'm
is
gonna
that
have
not
to look
enough
into it after
information
this.
to determine that it's wrong? If everything that I just said there was true, then would the Lake and Riley bill be bad?
Well, I'm gonna take what you said and I'm going to go look into it
Well,
more.
I
I
know, but
appreciate
if
it.
it was true, then would the Lake and Riley Act be bad? If it was true, then would the Lake and Riley Act be bad?
See, I can't say that. Like, I mean, I feel like the deporting these people is smarter than putting them in American jails. I think
Why?
that's just raising because it's raising taxes for, like, I mean, you can't just incarcerate all these people in American jails. That's not good
Question.
for the economy.
Question. Are you okay with your tax dollars being spent on the prevention of child rape?
Yeah, if they're American citizens and they need to be in jail.
Oh, but you're not okay with your tax dollars being spent on the prevention of non-American children being raped.
What? Whoa, no,
Okay,
that's not.
so you
actually
are okay with your tax dollars being spent on the prevention of non-American children from being raped? You are okay with
I'm
that?
okay with my tax dollars being spent if this person is an American citizen
No,
and
no, just
we
in
have
all
no option to
circumstances,
deport them.
in
But if we have
all,
the option to deport that,
in
and I don't have
listen,
to
I
go,
just want a simple answer. I just want a simple yes or no. Are you okay with your tax dollars being spent on the literal prevention of children from being raped in all scenarios? Yes or no? Because
yes,
you are awesome. That means that you're okay with your tax dollars being spent on allowing undocumented immigrants that are arrested on the basis of a violent crime such as child rape to see their day in court, be found guilty, then being thrown in jail, compared to being deported on the basis of an accusation to roam free in the street of another country and recommit.
all right, I'm gonna look into that after. I mean, I think that if that's true, that they're just going to go walk free, then yes, that is not something in that act needs to be changed.
Okay,
But
so then if everything that I'm saying here is true about the Lake and Riley Act, then you agree with me that it's bad, right?
there's also pros to it. I mean, like, you're getting them out of American systems. You're
Yeah, I'm so
like
sorry. What's more important, preventing rape or deporting an undocumented immigrant?
preventing rape, but you see,
There you
you're
go.
doing
There you
those
fucking
when you do
go.
it.
There you goddamn go, bro. It's super simple.
All right, bro.
Oh, and by the way, you just said what's more important, like punishing rapists or deporting undocumented immigrants. Mina, thank you
Why
so
do you
much for
keep
the
saying
interstellar. I really
rapists?
appreciate you so much for the love. Show some love to Mina down below in that chat. TikTok to S friendly language. So all that this tells us is that it would have been more important to you to punish Donald Trump, who's a rapist, lock him up for life, than to vote for him to do his mass deportation.
I don't think he actually is a rapist.
Okay,
I don't
so why don't you trust the outcome of the civil court that determined he was?
because I think if that actually was true, then he would have been jailed.
Okay, well then this just demonstrates a misunderstanding of how like the civil court proceedings in this country works. Civil courts don't imprison people; they fine them. And he was fined $87 million for the rape and defamation of E. Jean Carroll. Also, saying that if it was true that this person raped this other person, they'd be in jail is a bad way of thinking. Only around 5% of rapists inevitably find their way to jail.
I don't know. I feel like I have to look into that. I can't just say from your point of view. I think that if he actually was convicted, and I mean, you make the 5% argument. I mean, as somebody of Trump's,
I have a question.
like,
Do you look into like the conviction of every undocumented immigrant for being an undocumented immigrant?
no, of course that would be impossible.
But you still reliably trust the fact that because the court determined it, that they are undocumented immigrants, right?
Yeah, because they're undocumented immigrants.
Well, you trust the fact that a court determined that, correct? Without looking into the court, you trust.
Yeah,
this
because that's
a
more
court
black and
determined it.
white. That's a lot more black and white than.
Well, why shouldn't you trust that Donald Trump is a rapist because the court determined it? But you should trust that an undocumented immigrant is an undocumented immigrant because the court determined it.
Because one of them is a lot more yes or no than the other.
I'm so sorry. How so?
Being illegal versus a rape charge.
Yeah, like what's the difference here? In both scenarios, the court determined it.
In one scenario, it's from a witness who's saying there's no actual physical evidence. And then in one, there's literal, you can search up their documents, and if they're undocumented,
Wait, from
it's
a
pretty
witness,
black and white.
there's actual no physical evidence? What are you talking about?
But was there physical evidence in Trump's rape charge?
Physical, like what kind of physical evidence? Give me a couple.
Or was he
examples.
did somebody just press charges against him?
Can you give me a couple examples of like what that physical evidence would look like?
For illegal immigrants?
No, for like Donald Trump's rape charge.
What physical evidence? I mean, it's like,
Like what?
I mean, if there's DNA, they find his DNA in her or on her.
Funny motherfucker. E. Jean Carroll submitted a dress to the court that she claimed she was raped in by Trump, and she even said it had his DNA on it. They then tested
Did
it.
it have his DNA though from his like?
They
what kind of DNA?
then tested it, and they confirmed that it had male DNA on it. And then they turned around to Trump, and they're like, "Hey, Trump, can you please give us your DNA to test against this DNA on this dress that E. Jean Carroll submitted?" And he was like, "Nope, I can't do that. I'm not gonna do that. I refuse. I refuse. Even though if I'm innocent, and in me submitting my DNA would prove my innocence and save me a whole lot of money and a whole lot of trouble, I refuse."
Or submitting his DNA would get him like. I mean, I feel like there could be DNA on said dress that is
How?
not from actual sexual
Wait,
contact.
literally how? He claimed that he never met her. Oh, are you calling Trump a liar?
Then they don't know.
Yeah, are you calling Trump a liar when he claimed he never met her?
Well, I do not know. I mean, like I said, I'm gonna have to look into it. But seriously, I actually
no,
have to
seriously. Okay, you got to go, but like, I just want you to like, you're saying that we could have just been like non-sexual DNA on her dress, but that couldn't possibly be the case if he had never met her, like he testified to. So then why did he like refuse to submit his DNA? Last question, then you can leave.
maybe because he didn't have to, and like he was getting press charged, and he knew that he didn't want to actually have to be in that. Like, did they mandate him to? Did they make him or no?
Civil courts can't do that
Okay, so then why would he do it?
to prove his innocence.
But he's not. It's proven as innocent. He doesn't have to do that. He wasn't proven guilty.
Right, you said he doesn't have to do it. You're right, he doesn't have to do it, but like all natural incentive structures would align with him doing it. I mean, think about it. He would have saved $88 million. He would have saved potentially losing the 2024 election. And he would have saved like millions of Americans calling him a rapist, right? Like obviously,
I don't know.
Just think of like you were in your shoes. Okay, a woman falsely accuses you of rape. Okay, that woman claims that the dress she was wearing when you raped her, right, had your DNA on it, even though you had never met that woman in your life. And then she submits that dress to the court, claiming it has your DNA on it. If you had never met her in your life, obviously, you would probably submit your DNA too to prove your innocence, right?
Yeah, probably.
Exactly. Now imagine if it was like your total future hanging on the line with a second run at the presidency and $88 million and the social approval or disapproval of literally millions of Americans.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I'm not entirely
See,
as
the
educated
cogs
on
are
this
starting
topic
to
as you
turn.
are, so
The cogs are starting to turn now. See how it makes sense?
All right. Yeah, I'll take what you said and I'll go look into it. I appreciate your time, man. I also like what you're doing. I want to say that. I think that's good that you're actually having. This was a good conversation. I really appreciate your time. So
All right. Well, we're
have
going to
a
move on to the next guest, guys. Griffin, appreciate you for coming up. Let's go to get that next Trump supporter loaded up into the box, guys. Hop in that queue of your MAGA. We're going to get you connected literally right now. There's also a handful of you guys that I got to thank for all of the love. You guys have been showing so much love. Holy shit. Maze, thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo 30 minutes ago. Maze with the $10 says, I think today there's been hundreds of mass shootings since Trump has been in office. Yeah, last time I checked, around a month ago, there had been an average of like 1.4 mass shootings per day. So you're right. As well as Lauren, thank you for the $20 over on Venmo as well. Thank you so much, Lauren. Let's get 200 big Lauren W's down below. Lauren with the $20 says, so much respect to you. I would love to talk to you regarding the Trump supporters who have the idea that Donald is somehow a great military leader. Maybe I could help you refine your skills with a different perspective. Sure, Lauren, why don't you go ahead and share your perspective with me and like a comment under your donation. I'd love to hear it. As well as one big one here. Oh my God, Peter, thank you so much for the $80 donation on Venmo. Holy fuck, Peter. Jeez, dude, thank you so much for your generosity. W Peters in that chat. Peter with the 80 big ones says, what's crazy is Trump being a raging criminal that he stole the White House classified documents and lied about it to the FBI, and it's never mentioned anymore. Yeah, dude, the reason why that's never mentioned anymore, Peter, is because it is like one of the smaller bad things he's done in the last 2 years. But this would have been Watergate 2.0 20 years ago. You know what I mean? What's going on? Do you support Trump?
No.
All right, then I got to ban you. Moving on to Rage of Slayer. Here we go, guys. Woo! Oh my God. If you want to support me, you can find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in my bio over on TikTok, as well as in that pinned message over on the YouTube chat. I get 100% of all the proceeds donated to me over on those platforms. Quite frankly, you could even like attach a message and I will read it off on live. I appreciate everyone so much for all the love. What's up? Are you MAGA? Hello? Rage of Slayer, 5 seconds before you're banned.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Do you support Trump?
How are you? Yeah, I do.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 26.
All right, Mr. Rage of Slayer, 26 years old. Let me thank 4 people, actually,
Kevs.
3 people, and then we'll hop into the debates. First and foremost, D's Nuts, appreciate you for the 2 pennies over on PayPal. D's Nuts says, I'm a gobble your booty, little boy. D's Nuts, no. Mariah, thank you for the $20 over on PayPal. Mariah with the $20. Show some love to Mariah down below. Mariah says, I love watching your lives to get more knowledgeable. I'm from Texas and my family's MAGA. They hate to talk politics with me because I bring facts I learned from you. Fuck yeah, Mariah. You're a goddamn icon. Show some love to Mariah the icon down below in that chat. As well as Christopher. Thank you so much for the $50 on PayPal and the little dog shop with the 30. Thank you guys both so much. Let's get 500 Christopher W's and 300 little dog shop W's. Guys, thank you so much for the love. Fucking seriously. As well as Christopher, I just read your message there. I agree with everything you said. We do need to focus on updating immigration paths 110%. Spot on, Christopher. And then little dog shop, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for the love. You guys are awesome. We're all caught up. Rage of Slayer, go ahead and hop into it. Why the hell do you support the worst president of your goddamn diddly darn life?
Well, I think he's been doing a lot for my community. I'm black, and I think that he's helped out the black community a lot.
Okay, I guess we'll start off with obviously the next common sense question. How?
Yeah, so I mean, we were averaging about 837 unsolved H-sides a year in the city that I'm from. And when the National Guard came in, he's drastically decreased that. He's also gotten rid of DEI, so I no longer have to wonder if I'm having this job or this position just because I'm black. And I think he's helped out a ton when it comes to equality amongst blacks.
Okay, what is the first thing that you said?
Yeah, he's helped in the National Guard into my city.
Okay, and done what? Just to clarify, I just literally repeat what you said.
Yeah, he's brought in the National Guard. There was 837 unsolved H-sides the prior year.
Homicide.
And he's helped drastically decrease that with the National Guard's deployment.
Yeah, didn't a federal judge rule like yesterday that there was an illegal deployment in Illinois?
Yeah, I'm not in Illinois, so.
Oh, you're right. Okay. Sorry. For whatever reason, I keep on wanting to say that Chicago's in Illinois. I'm sorry. I'm a mess. Listen, I want to start off with the second one first. So you're talking about DEI. You're saying that he got rid of DEI. So when you're in the running for a job, you no longer have to wonder if you're getting the job because you're black. So how did he get rid of this quote unquote DEI? What did he do?
Yeah, he's made it more acceptable for companies to not have to be forced into opt into the system or that model. So the companies don't have to opt into it as much anymore as before, where it was kind of like this polarizing thing that all companies
Wait,
should do it,
wait,
quote unquote. Woke.
Chicago is in Illinois.
I'm not in Chicago though. I never said I lived in Chicago.
Oh, I thought you said that he deployed the National Guard to Chicago and it like
No, he
was
to
able to
my city. I
successfully.
said no. I said to my city.
Okay, I thought that you said Chicago. Are you talking about
No.
Portland, Memphis?
Yeah, to Portland.
Portland. Oh, we actually had another federal judge rule like last week that his deployment of the National Guard in Portland was illegal.
No, I mean that's fine. I mean, but it's definitely helped the crime. We were averaging a lot of unsolved H sides, and then also too, there was a lot of mass pewings in the area that I grew up in. So
I mean,
it's helped out
actually,
a ton.
so like mass pewings are at like a drastic high right now. Like at least from what I've seen under the Trump administration so far, I think we've had like over like 200 mass shootings so far in his term. And honestly, like I think that Donald Trump's response to the mass shootings has been incredibly terrible because instead of attempting to find a way to prevent them, instead he's just like politicized them, which I think is completely gross, right? And then once again, right, you said, oh, it's great because it's reduced violent crime. Could you give me any evidence that like the existence of the National Guard in Portland for like 2 fucking days because it was before it was ruled as illegal significantly reduced crime?
Yeah, so it's helped out a ton within the workforce. I mean, it's anecdotal. What's on happening there? My friend is on the police force, and he's been able to help solve four crimes that have been on his desk within those 48 hours. So, I mean, I think that it's a major win, don't
Oh,
you?
well, you're saying it's anecdotal and you have no real evidence for it, so it sounds like a major loss of a debate argument. And then also you said more
Okay.
acceptable for companies to not hire people on the basis of their race. Like which ones?
I don't want to dox myself, so I'm not going to say the company that I work for.
Okay, well, I mean, seemingly it doesn't just seem like you have a compelling argument. It just seems like rhetoric, you know?
How is it rhetoric?
Right, because you're saying like, oh, before Trump, people would get hired not based on their merit, but because they're black. Now after Trump, people are no longer getting hired because they're black. And I can't name anything that Donald Trump did to stop this. And I also can't name any company that did this. And I also can't name any company that stopped this. It's just a massive trust me, bro.
I mean, you can look into different corporations, but I mean, like, there's 13,000 people here. I don't want to dox myself, and people
Well,
keep
how
saying
about
that.
you give me an example of a corporation that you don't work for?
People keep saying that I'm white. This is my skin. This is clearly black. It's not white. So I think racial testing is kind of weird.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, you kind of ate y'all up. Go ahead.
What do you mean he ate us up?
No, you ate them up?
Oh, I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so like I mean personally, right, when you don't have to constantly worry or not if like the white person next to you is going to be thinking whether or not like you got this job because of your skin color or because the HR has to fill these certain quotas, it helps my life a ton because I know that I'm only getting the job based upon my merit. There's executive orders in place that have helped stop DEI when it comes to like government contracts. So most private companies that are getting those government contracts aren't having to utilize DEI to get those contracts.
Okay. I'm sorry. Could you repeat the first part of that statement again? I was reading something. I'm terrible. My apologies.
No, you're good, man. So yeah, I was just saying that like when he removed it from like government, like having DEI based upon DEI within the government.
Yeah.
and
What
the
did he
private
remove? Are you talking about LGB's, Lyndon B. Johnson's executive order?
No, I'm just talking about DI in general. So DI, like as it
Okay.
pertains
So
to
then,
like
what did he
training
specifically
practices.
remove?
Yeah, the training practices, like the forced training
Training practices
practices,
of what?
like whatever the companies want. DI is in a standardized
I'm
practice.
sorry, this is all just so vague. You said that he removed it in the federal government. What specifically, like, what did he remove in the federal government? Also, like, for the president to exert like power and control over like government agencies, it's obviously going to be through an executive order or like repealing other executive orders. So, like, what executive orders did he repeal, or what executive orders did he sign into law to like prevent individuals from getting jobs on the basis of the race?
Yeah, so so we know that DEI is not a universal training, right? Like we know that it's up to the private companies that opt in what their DEI training looks like.
Okay, you're not answering my question.
Well, I mean, like you're asking me for a broad answer of what he did.
No,
But
I'm
we
actually
first
not
have
asking you for a broad answer. I'm just asking you for like any answer of like specific actions that he engaged with to quote unquote remove DEI in the federal government.
Yes, so what I'm telling you right now is that when you have contracts within the federal government that had once requirements of DEI training to make sure that employees were following quote unquote best standard practices when hiring, when that removal is taken out, it gives an equal opportunity
Okay,
for all people that are applying.
so yeah, what was taken out of where? Like what government
Yeah, so
agencies
you
was he
don't have
involved
to.
with? Like
So
how did he take certain training practices out? Can you point towards like any particular federal agency that had
Department of
these training?
Defense.
Okay, the DoD.
Yeah,
So
Department
okay,
of Defense.
so what specifically did he change in the DoD that ended
Yeah,
DEI?
he took out mandatory DEI practices in order to have awardings of
Mandatory
contracts
DI practices. Okay, now what are those
to get
mandatory DI
contracts awarded.
practices?
It's whatever the company decides to opt in for. They just have to have a DEI practice or a DEI course.
Okay, and then he took this out through an executive order.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, what executive order?
I believe it was called the merit. Hold on, it was like the first 100 days, but it was like the merit restoring merit based practices in America.
Was
I think that's what it.
was it the ending racial and wasteful government DI programs?
Yes.
Okay, let's read it together. Purpose and policy: the Biden administration forced illegal and immoral discrimination programs going by the name of DEI into virtually all aspects of the federal government in areas ranging from airline safety to the military. This was a concerted effort stemming from President Biden's first day in office, wherein he issued the executive order number 13985, advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities throughout the federal government. Pursuant to this, nearly every federal agency and entity submitted to equity action plans to detail the ways that they've pursued further DEI infiltration of the federal government. The public release of these plans demonstrated immense public waste and shameful discrimination. That ends today. America deserves a government committed to serving every person with equal dignity and respect and to expending precious taxpayers' resources on only making America great. So point number one, it sounds like he wants to do this to like save the American taxpayer's dollar. Meanwhile, he just signed the most expensive policy that we've seen from the American Congress ever into law. That policy being the big beautiful bill that expends $4.5 trillion in his first term. He also spent $8.4 trillion, doubling every penny that was spent under the Biden-Harris administration. So I'm not sure that he's going to be saving any taxpayers' dollars here, as he's been one of the most significant wasters of the taxpayers' dollar in American history. Now, to the first point about removing DEI, can you point me towards the executive orders that he's referring to of Biden's that implemented DEI so I could specifically read exactly what was restricted?
Yeah, I would have to get to my computer, but when we're just talking about it, would you agree that the executive order you just read repeals the DEI practices within the federal government?
Well, I agree that it's repealing things that Biden did, but now we need to determine if those things that Biden did were right or wrong, right? So, like, what are those very
Sure.
specific things that Biden did?
Yeah, give me 1 second. Let me get to my computer.
Okay. In the meantime, guys, make sure that we're double tapping away on that phone screen. All right. I'm reading the Biden executive order right now. Okay. By advancing equity across the federal government, we can create opportunities for the improvement of communities that have been historically underserved, which benefits everyone. For example, an analysis shows that closing racial gaps in wages, housing credits, lending opportunities, and access to higher levels of education would amount to an additional $5 trillion in GDP in the American economy over the next 5 years. The federal government's goal in advancing equity is to provide everybody with the same opportunity to reach their full potential. Consistent with these aims, each agency must assess whether and to what extent its programs and its policies perpetuate systemic barriers to opportunities and benefits for everybody, for people of color and then other underserved groups. Such assessments will better equip agencies to develop policies and programs that will deliver resources and benefits equitably to all.
Yep. So I found the executive order is Executive Order 13985 on the Federal Register .gov.
Yeah, so I'm actually reading it right now. And
Yep.
literally all that this executive order says is that the aim and the goal of the executive order is to ensure that everybody, regardless of like race, regardless of gender, regardless of ethnicity, should have like the same opportunity in the American workforce, and that actually aiming towards allowing everybody to have the same amount of opportunity in the American workforce would be incredibly beneficial to the American economy by adding an additional $5 trillion in GDP in the next 5 years, and that the specific role that this executive order is serving is just to ensure that inside of federal agencies, there's not like discrimination in hiring processes, right? And I don't think that an assurance that there's not discrimination in hiring processes would amount to an unfair, like quote unquote DEI tool that is giving black individuals jobs simply because they are black.
Yeah, that's one way of like broadly like painting a stroke of positivity, but Section 7 actually does the complete opposite of what you just stated. Section 7 is very broadly, loosely stating promoting equitable delivery of government benefits and equitable communities. And it states, in government contracting and procurement opportunities should be available on equal basis to all eligible providers of goods and services to meet these objectives and to enhance compliance within existing civil laws. Section point B within Section 7 says the administrator of the U.S. Digital Service, the United States Chief Technological Officer, the Chief Information Officer of the United States, and the heads of the other agencies of these designees shall take necessary action consistent with applicable law to support agencies in developing such plans.
Yeah.
Now, when we look...
Yeah, dude, like literally. I mean, I have no issue with what you just read off. I'll read it off for you again. Government
Right, but what
contracting
does-
should procure opportunities on an equal basis to all eligible providers of goods and services. Like, dude, I mean, what do you not understand about the word equal there? Like, literally, like the goal of
No,
this executive order is just to ensure that there's equal opportunity for everybody, regardless of one's race or gender, and that we're not discriminating in hiring process and in hiring practices on the basis of like systemic racism, systemic sexism, so on and so forth. So fucking what? That's
Yeah,
good.
so what we have to do next is we have to go in and actually see what those trainings look like, right? So if we look at the Smithsonian had this teaching of what quote unquote white culture is. Have you seen this before, Dean?
No, but I do know that per Trump's directive, he's taking out teachings of what quote-unquote black culture is by absolutely undermining and eroding the teaching of slavery, the teaching of systemic racism, and how black Americans have been treated historically throughout this country's history due to the oppression of institutions with the legalization of slavery, so on and so forth. Right? I do know that Donald Trump took that out of the Smithsonian, but I mean, that's not what you're saying. So what are you saying?
Why did it just say I got muted? That was kind of odd. So what I'm saying is, one, well, if you think that slavery is black culture, I mean, I was never a slave, so I don't know why you would automatically think black culture is slavery. But
I think what I meant to say was black history. My apologies.
yeah, you're good. I mean, like, I don't believe a race can have a culture. That's why, like, in
What?
2021, yeah, and no, a race can't have a culture. Like, what is your culture, Dean? What do you do as a white man?
Okay. Well, listen, before we have that discussion, I want you to finish out what you're telling me about how the directives implemented per this executive order by the Biden-Harris administration and federal agencies ended up being
Sure.
incredibly
So-
unfair and bad.
Yeah, so this is white culture. This is put out by the Smithsonian back in, what year was this? This was 2021. The white culture, assumptions in white culture is that there's rugged individualism. The nuclear family, father, mother, 2.3 children is the ideal social unit. It also says that follow rigid time schedules, time viewed as commodity, being on time and being perfectionist. Do you not think that black people can do this? Like, would you say that this is like something that only white people are able to obtain to?
It's saying that white culture is being timely?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
right here.
Yeah, that's fucking weird. Get it out of here.
Yes, but this
what
is
does
what
this have to do with our conversation about...
This is what DEI does. This is what DEI creates. It creates
What?
racism.
Wait. You were telling me that the directives of the Biden-Harris executive order that they signed on day one just had to do with promoting like more opportunity in hiring practices to combat systemic oppression, systemic racism, and like denying, for instance, a black individual a job because they're black, right? Pertaining to hiring practices. Now you're trying to say because some random website says that white culture is being timely, that this has absolutely anything to do with the executive order signed into law by Biden and Harris surrounding, like, just ensuring that when federal government agencies are like hiring people, they can't discriminate against minorities? What?
Well, this isn't a random website, Dean. This is the National Smithsonian.
Okay, yeah, I'd have to look into more like why the Smithsonian published that. I mean, it's interesting. Definitely
It's
something we
racist,
should look
right?
into. But I
Yeah, it's
don't think
racist,
that has
right?
anything to do with the Biden-Harris executive order about combating racism and hiring.
Well, this is what Section B, what I was telling you about in subsection 7B. Subsection 7B was talking
Wait,
about
I have
the
a
fact
question. I have a
that
question. When was that published?
This was published in 2021.
What month?
I don't remember. It just says 2021.
Where can I find that?
The Smithsonian.
Okay.
You
Like,
type in
where
white culture Smithsonian.
where specifically do I find it?
Yeah, type in white culture, aspects and assumptions of whiteness and white culture, the Smithsonian.
Oh, aspects and assumptions?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, if it's talking about the assumptions of white culture, well, I mean, I think that's probably like a little bit more like informative than anything. Wait, actually, sorry, scratch that. You lied about it being published in 2021.
Okay, when was it published, Dean?
I found a tweet talking about the same graphic that you're showing to me right now, published in July of 2020.
Okay, so our Smithsonian publishes this.
Holy shit. Wow. So this actually was, at least to the best, to my best knowledge, published in July of 2020 under Donald Trump's first administration.
Okay.
Oh, so you're saying that the Trump administration published something racist on Smithsonian?
I guess so then.
Okay,
That's
well,
fine.
Then your whole, wait, it's fine now that you think Trump did it?
No, what I'm saying is I'm glad that he got rid of it. He found the error of his ways because this was still going around up until he took office.
Wait. You're telling me that he got rid of it by repealing an executive order signed into law by Biden in 2021, even though this was present on the Smithsonian website in 2020? What the fuck?
Yeah, I can.
Wait,
I can show you.
wait, are you saying that this executive order of the Biden-Harris administration fucking time traveled and published an article or something on the Smithsonian website like a year before it was signed into law?
Not at all what I'm saying.
Okay, well then obviously him like taking down some executive order signed into law by the Biden-Harris administration that just seriously promoted like more equality in hiring practices to combat racial and race, gender, and sex-based discrimination in hiring practices had absolutely nothing to do with this publication from the Smithsonian whatsoever.
Yeah, so I think you're steel manning my position. You said more words than I have, and so like I haven't even gotten a chance to like say what I've actually been meaning to say for a minute now.
But the fact of the matter is, what you're showing me with the Smithsonian article has nothing to do with the Biden-Harris administration signing an executive order into law, nor anything to do with Donald Trump signing another executive order into law to repeal their original executive order, as this was published before both the Biden-Harris administration signed their executive order into law and published before Donald Trump signed another executive order into law to repeal it.
So do you admit to steel manning my position? Because I haven't said anything yet.
I mean, I admit to absolutely refuting the hell out of it.
I mean, if that's what your way of saying steel man, I'll consider that a concession.
I'm so sorry.
So-
What are you asking of me?
Yeah, I'm asking you to say that you've been steel manning my position. I haven't even been able to make or assert a claim yet.
Okay. So I think that I am refuting the claims that you've already made, such as when you attempted to argue that the Biden-Harris administration caused the Smithsonian to publish this by signing executive order number 13985 into law, right?
No,
But
so
this
the
was
claim that
published by
I'm
the Smithsonian before that.
No, so the claim that I made is, wow, thank you guys. The claim that I made is that these teachings were used as a part of DEI trainings. Like, how can you teach that white culture is being on time for things? I don't believe a race has a culture. I believe
I'm
black
so sorry.
people can.
What is it? What does this have to do with Donald Trump's executive order repealing a Biden-Harris executive order?
Yes. So again, this is telling you that this was what they assumed white culture to be, saying that blacks couldn't strive to have this.
What does this have to do with Trump's executive order that you were parading as the massive big accomplishment that you really liked of his administration?
You and I are both speaking English to each other. I don't know how you're not comprehending.
I don't know how you're comprehending what I'm asking you. I asked you, what has Donald Trump done to combat DEI? You direct me to an executive order that he signed on day one, ending an executive order signed into law by the Biden-Harris administration. What the fuck does this Smithsonian thing? What does this have to do with this executive order?
So the Smithsonian, a governmental institution, was teaching that this is what white culture is.
What does that have to do with Donald Trump's executive order?
I can't even finish the fucking thought, Dean.
Just tell me what it has to do with Trump's executive order.
Okay, I will if you let me get to the thought.
Awesome, do it, please.
So when you, yeah, I got you, brother. So when you take this out of training, which Donald Trump's executive order did, when you take this out of training,
wrong.
How is it? I haven't even finished the sentence.
Well,
Dean.
you're
How can
already
it be
wrong.
wrong if I can't even finish the sentence?
Yeah, because Donald Trump's executive order had nothing to do with the Smithsonian or this article, considering the fact that this article existed before the executive order that Biden signed into law that Donald Trump's executive order repealed. You understand that all Donald Trump's executive order on the issue did was it repealed the executive order signed into law by the Biden-Harris administration on January 21st, 2021. But because this article didn't exist because of the Biden executive order, as it was literally on the Smithsonian website before that executive order existed in reality at all, then it did not impact or influence anything to do with whatever the reporting from the Smithsonian is that you're showing me. By the way, I'd have to
So,
look more
Dean, when
into like
this
into the reporting from the Smithsonian. I don't really know what you're showing me, but all that I'm arguing is that it has absolutely nothing to do at all with Donald Trump's executive order repealing an executive order from the Biden-Harris administration signed into law after the Smithsonian published whatever this thing is about, the assumptions of whiteness and white culture under Donald Trump in his first term.
Yes, so this racist article was used as a teaching model within the federal government to show that black people could not equate to the standards and qualities of white people. Now, like I stated before, I don't believe a race can have a culture. You would agree as well that a race cannot have a culture, right?
Sorry, like races having or not having cultures has absolutely nothing to do with our conversation in the slightest about you arguing that Donald Trump is a good president because he repealed an executive order signed into law by Biden, just simply stating that we shouldn't be able to discriminate on the basis of race when hiring. Stop pivoting.
How can I pivot if I've stated the same exact point since the moment I got up here?
You haven't stated the same exact point. Your first claim was that you really support Donald Trump as president because he signed this awesome executive order into law combating DEI. I was like, okay, what Trump executive order are you talking about? We load it up, we read it together. All Donald Trump's executive order did was repealed the executive order number 13985 from the Biden-Harris administration. Are you following and in agreement so far?
Yes, I'm in agreement so far.
Awesome. You're following and in agreement so far. Therefore, the original point of argumentation here that you really wanted to hit home to argue that Trump is a great president was that he did something great when he repealed Executive Order number 13985 from Biden and Harris. Okay? Question, and this is going to demonstrate the lack of relevance of your follow-up questions as well as the Smithsonian infographic that we see on screen right now. Does the Smithsonian infographic exist because of the Biden-Harris Executive Order number 13985?
That had nothing to do with my claim.
Okay, so this has nothing to do with your claim because it wasn't caused by Executive Order number 13985?
No, it was not.
Okay, great. So because this has no bearing, no relationship, no causal factors whatsoever in relationship to Executive Order number 13985 signed into law by Biden, then like I'm going to turn your fucking camera off and I'm going to ask you to get back on track. Once again, why do you think that Trump overturning Executive Order number 13985 by the Biden-Harris administration was a really good thing, which was the original point in which you were arguing?
Yes, so when you just turned off my camera, the infographic that we had on screen was utilized as a teaching method within the federal government to ascertain that races have different cultures. As we both know, black people can do exactly what is on this
Where does it talk about that infographic in the slightest in the Biden executive order?
If we go to 13985, like we've just said, and then we looked at section B underneath where it says the administrator of the U.S. Digital Service, the United States Chief Technology Officer, the Chief Information Officer of the United States, and the heads of other agencies or the designees shall take necessary actions consistent with applicable law to support agencies in developing such plans.
Keyword such
that
plans.
was a part of the plan.
Keyword such
that
plans.
was the plan, Dean.
Okay. Well,
Yes,
actually,
Dean.
okay. Well, the plan would be detailed before Section 7B in the executive order. So show me where in Section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, right? It says that the Smithsonian graphic that you just showed on screen is a part of the plan. Where does it say that?
That's
in
a
the
straw
executive order?
man, Dean.
It's
Dean,
not.
you're straw man.
It's not a straw man
Yes,
in the
it is.
slightest because you argued that it was a part of the plan. That plan being detailed by this executive order. The plan is the executive order. So where in the executive order does it reference the Smithsonian infographic?
Dean, you know who also muted people was slave owners?
Well, you know who's running from a fucking argument right now? You. Why can't you just answer the question? Where in Section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 does it mention this goddamn Smithsonian infographic that you keep on putting on screen?
Yeah, I've been saying this the whole time. It's not the
Also,
exact...
what the fuck was that comment about slave owners? What the fuck are you even saying, dude?
Because you
Holy
keep muting me,
shit.
and all I say... I count my words. I've been saying 10 words at a time max. and you just mute me, and then you steal me in a position, you just ask questions, and then you mute, and then you make a whole new point that I haven't made.
Okay, what it sounds like you're doing right now is that you're obviously losing the debate, so you're trying to engage in meta conversation surrounding my conduct in the debate. Once again, I would really appreciate it if you could focus on the substance rather than the rhetoric. Once again, the substance is the fact that you are arguing that the application of this random fucking Smithsonian graphic that was posted by Trump under his first administration has anything to do with the proposed plan that was signed into law to combat racial discrimination and hiring-based practices in federal agencies per the executive order. I'm simply asking you, where in the plan per the executive order can I read that infographic was a part of it?
Yeah, you would have to talk to the actual employees of the federal government that, like I did, that were having to sit underneath trainings to figure out that this graphic that the Smithsonian had published that was very racist was being implied in the job descriptions that blacks somehow could not equate to whites.
I mean, I don't even understand that sentence. You're saying that before you had to get hired, so because of this Biden executive order, before you had to get hired at a federal agency, you had to study that Smithsonian graphic. Is that what you're arguing?
Correct. Yes, this is what I'm saying, Dean.
Okay, give me
Thank you
evidence.
for finally tracking. Thank you for finally tracking.
Okay, now give me evidence of that, please.
I just told you you would have to talk to the federal government workers that were having to sit through these trainings.
Okay, could you please point me towards one of these federal government workers?
Do you want me to get my friend on the line or something?
I mean, I just want evidence that what you're saying here is true. You're just saying that, oh, you've talked to people. It's just to trust me, bro.
Okay, so do I need to pull up a federal government worker?
I just need you to pull up evidence, whatever that looks like. I need you to provide me with a consistent, evidence-based argument that because of Biden-Harris Executive Order number 13985, that new hirees at federal governments were taught that white people are timely.
Yeah, so Dean, you are arguing in bad faith. You know DEI is not a standardized practice. It is dependent on the agencies that are within, right? You know that.
Yeah, I'm asking you to demonstrate that this is true about literally even one federal agency. And by the way, this was a standardized executive order, meaning it would have actually been standardized in accordance with the rules and regulations of this executive order for federal agencies. So you're wrong.
How am I wrong? What do you mean? Explain how I'm wrong, Dean.
Yeah, for sure, because this would have been a standardized practice amongst federal agencies per the words of the executive order.
No, it says they have to support agencies in developing such plans. So it doesn't even say that the plans are universal.
That's the standardized practice, would be in developing plans in alignment with the goal of the executive order.
So Dean, show me in this executive order where it says that it would be a universal plan.
Well, it's not the universal individual plans for the agencies. It's the universal push towards the standardization of plans to reduce racial discrimination in hiring. I think that you're confusing my words.
So it isn't universal. Like I just stated, it would depend on the agencies in which they develop such plans.
I think that you're just simply misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm saying what is universal, what is standardized, is the push for the agencies to act in accordance with the executive order to reduce race-based discrimination in hiring process and hiring practices. I never argued that all of the federal agencies would have the same exact plan for the goal. I'm just simply telling you that in accordance with the executive order, all of the federal agencies would have the same goal. Right? That goal being very clearly detailed by the executive order.
Why do you keep muting me, Massa? I haven't even been saying anything. I haven't even been talking over you.
Did you just call me bro? Dude, my name is Dean. Thank you so much. Stop being engage with the substance of the debate or get kicked.
Yeah, but you're muting me like a slave.
Jesus fucking Christ. So, Dean is a quote-unquote racist slave owner for muting his guests when they interrupt me, but Donald Trump is a non-racist perfect president, even though he called all black people lazy in the 90s and told everybody to not vote for Obama since because he was black, that means he was born in Africa. Holy fucking shit. You have to be rage-baiting.
Wait. When did he say that? Oh, okay, so Obama being born in Africa or alluding to the fact that he may not be a United States citizen is somehow racist, even though our Constitution No. So wait, the Constitution outlines that you have to be a U.S. citizen to run for president, correct?
Right, which is one of the facts insofar as why it was racist, because it was attempting to limit the job opportunity of a black man by arguing that he shouldn't be eligible for the job by implying that he was not born in America, right, likely because of the color of his skin, even though he'd provided a birth certificate from Hawaii. But before we move on, right, because now you're attempting to try to pivot away from the last point, I want you to point me towards any evidence that implied that because of the Biden executive order number 13985, right, there was particular federal agencies that required their employees to think that white people are timely.
So, Dean, you made two assertions on my character. I haven't overtalked you, and number two, you're saying that I pivoted. You just brought up the accusation of two instances of how Donald Trump was racist. I didn't do those, so I couldn't pivot. because I didn't bring up those claims.
So that was in response to me saying that you're calling me literally a racist slave owner because I muted you because you interrupted me, but then you turn around in support of Donald Trump, who's done all of these miscellaneous racist things, right? That was obviously, right, a comment to demonstrate your rage bait, hypocritical nature in response to you calling me fucking massa, right? Now, if you want to talk about the merits of those claims individually, we could happily do that after you finish in response to my first question when I asked you to provide evidence that federal fucking agencies are like requiring people to think that white people are timely per Biden's executive order number 13985.
Yes, so this article that was utilized as a teaching or as a quote unquote method of teaching was then used to substitute within the trainings of federal workplaces of what black people actually go through. It was utilized as a way to say that, hey, black people may need a little bit of extra assistance. Also, when you
I don't
just
believe
made
that.
those.
Give me evidence of that. I don't believe you.
Okay, so how can I give you evidence without bringing in somebody from the federal government?
So you're saying that somebody in the federal government has told you this? Sure, have them come up here and tell us that. Sure, just give your evidence.
Okay. So Yankee, I know you're watching. Yankee, would you like to come up? You were a Navy man. Did you go through this DEI training?
Wait, so now you're saying in order to literally be in the Navy, you have to think that like black people are not timely? Dude, come on. Like this is obviously like insane. Nobody believes this.
You saw how racist that ad was, right? You saw that, right?
What I'm understanding is that I absolutely do not think that you have any evidence in the world that in order to be like one of the millions of military servicemen or women, you must like sit down and be indoctrinated into thinking that white people are timely and black people need more help because they're not timely. Dude, that would have been the biggest fucking headline for years under the Biden-Harris administration if it was true. And you can't even point me towards one data point of evidence to suggest that what you're telling us is true. Like, come on. Everybody knows that you're just telling us like blatant lies that have no evidence to substantiate them as being true, and likely rage baited.
So wait a second. You told me to bring somebody in that went through this training. Now you're telling me because the news didn't cover this story that somehow I have to be lying.
I'm just telling you, because the news didn't cover the story, because this wasn't a headline from one publisher, and you're suggesting that millions of people in the military had to be sit down and indoctrinated into thinking that white people are timely and black people aren't, is definitely a little bit of a fire inductive argument to reason my way to the conclusion that you're definitely not telling the truth. Absolutely. Especially considering the fact that you can't provide me with any evidence to demonstrate that what you're saying is true.
Okay, so Joker 1911, he's in the queue. He was a Navy man. He went through this training, so you can bring him up, and he can tell you that what I'm saying is 100% accurate.
Okay, let's go to get this Joker guy up here. Let's go to get them loaded in. Did the stream just get banned? Oh no, it didn't get banned. Are you still here?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, no worries. I thought that the stream got banned. Okay, we're also gonna bring Santana up, and where is, you said Yanks 13? Who are you talking about?
Yeah, Joker 1911.
Joker 1911. Okay.
Hey, Slayer.
What's up?
Why are you up here being disingenuous?
Am I being disingenuous, Santana?
Dean's dog walking you, and so now you're trying to rage bait. Come on now. You're better than that.
Dude,
I'm getting dog walked?
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
I was being accused of. Okay, wait, I'm being accused of interrupting somebody when I've been having the same demeanor this whole time?
Yeah, the whole massa comment and muting, you said, slave owners muted the slaves as well. Come on now. You're being completely disingenuous.
Hey.
How is that being disingenuous? I've had the same demeanor this whole talk.
Your demeanor has nothing to do with your actual words.
I was just accused of the fact that I was interrupting Dean. I haven't interrupted him once.
Also, I've been looking for this actual DEIA training that you're saying that the military has gone through. And Dean, while I've found no actual documented proof that DEIA is a training that the military has to go through, I have found an actual talking point from the Heritage Foundation that talks about how corrupting influence of DEI on the military's education. And so literally the Heritage Foundation has been talking about this very topic, but even looking for multiple sources, the only thing close that I could find to it is the Cato Institute talking about why the military should actually utilize DEIA.
Listen,
I mean,
listen.
they did actually, and it was the Marine Corps Slayer, by the way. It wasn't the fucking Navy, dude. Come
So
on.
so
Sorry,
listen.
my
So Santana, I the reason I wanted to bring you up, Santana, is because I know that you talk a lot about DEI, and you're honestly like significantly more educated on DEI than I am. And I wanted to ensure that, you know, like having this conversation in front of like literally thousands and thousands of people, right? We're having the most accurate information suggested. Now, right, in consideration of that fact, we now have this guy's friend named Joker up, and Joker is apparently the evidence for
Marine Corps vet.
everything
Yes.
that this guy has been
I was
saying.
an admin.
One second.
I was an admin.
Allow me to finish. So, just to catch everyone up to speed, Rage down here is making the claim that because of the Biden-Harris administration, if you wanted to join the military or work for any federal agency, then you had to be sit down by one of your superiors and indoctrinated into thinking that white people are timely and black people aren't timely. Therefore, they might need a little bit extra help. So, Joker, by the way, no posts, no reposts, no saves, 2 followers and 1 following, that 1 following being this guy.
Dean, you blocked my main accounts because I would get opposition, and you blocked me from your main account, or my main account. You blocked both my backup and my main because
So
I was getting opposition.
If I blocked you because you were
I
gifting,
never talked. Yeah, I don't know if it
Who
was your
were you
mods, but I never talked
gifting?
shit in the comments of opposition. But I got blocked. So I don't.
Dude,
Send-
there is very like rare and special circumstances where like I will get
I
fed
was
up enough
literally just
to
gifting
literally
from
block
comment.
people that like gift the opposition, and that's when the opposition
sure,
is like
bro.
literally
Sure, I
saying
got-
that they're okay with rape. So I
Yeah,
wonder who you were
no,
gifting.
no.
But anyways, no, please tell us.
You try
So,
to gaslight me all you want.
were you sat down by
Okay,
like one of your superiors in the military and told to think that because of Biden and Harris, that white people are timely and black people aren't timely, and you might need to help them out a little bit more?
No, it was never like that. We're talking about basically the promotion system here because each rank had a certain number of people that could be promoted at a time. And in order for commanders or, lieutenants and captains to not look like they were discriminating, they would have to pick a certain amount of females and a certain amount of
Oh,
you
so you actually
ethnic groups.
So it just seems like now
in
you're
order
making
to no, that's I
so
wrote
now,
the
so now it seems like you're
promotion
making
warrants.
so now it seems like you're making like a totally new claim that Rage isn't making. So Rage, remember you told me that you like had evidence for your claim that people were being taught because of that Biden executive order that black people
were
aren't
taught.
timely and white people are timely.
That's why this is why commanders actually they specifically picked minorities to promote more so it didn't look bad on them because
okay.
they were
But
taught
listen,
that if they showed
I need you-
they were taught that any sense of discrimination would get them demoted. Any type of it could be something very little. Race and segregation and discrimination is taken very seriously.
I need you to
in the
listen to
military.
me. I need you to listen to me. You are making a totally different claim than what Rage made. And when Rage said you should bring Joker up, it was in response to me asking Rage what his evidence was that because of Biden's executive order, right, if you worked at federal agencies, you had to sit down and be indoctrinated by some fucking graphic that told you white people are timely, and because of that, black people aren't timely. Therefore, you need to help black people out a little bit more. So Rage...
We didn't have that, no.
Oh, fuck! Okay. God damn.
It wasn't to that specific.
God damn, bro. All right. Go ahead, Santana. But before you do...
Even to his point, literally, because there has been such a decline as far as minorities, women, people of color getting promoted within the military, there has been a shift to what's called a colorblind system, where they actually remove the actual information and they take an effective approach to try to eliminate biases, where they're just looking at the actual promotional package and they remove all identifying information. Literally, the United States military, to ensure that they are not giving anyone preferable treatment, they are literally moving to a system where they remove identifiers and just stack it up against each other. At least that's what they were doing before the Trump administration. So that completely negates what he was saying.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, like, so even in, right, like the original context of why I even brought him up, which was to apparently, right, have like him serve as Rage's evidence that if you worked in these agencies, you had to think that white people are timely. Rage, how do you feel about the fact that when I just asked him if what you were saying was true, he said it wasn't, and that has never happened to him, even though you said that he was going to be your evidence?
Yeah, I don't think you let him finish his full thought. That's what I think.
No, he just straight up said that it wasn't something that he experienced, wasn't something that happened to him.
Yeah, he said
He
that it was
literally admitted
integrated. You just heard him when he said that they were talking about the promotions, and then you didn't let him finish, and you kicked him off.
That was a completely and totally different claim. I don't know like what's so confusing about this, so I'm going to make it super
I'm
duper
not
simple.
confused, brother.
You are very confused, brother, and I'm going to tell you exactly how. Because you made the
Okay.
claim that because of this Biden-Harris era executive order, if you're going to be going into a federal agency, you had to be sit down and taught this infographic that's telling you white people are timely and black people aren't, and how racist that is. And I was like, dude, that is like absolutely insanely untrue. You absolutely would not be able to demonstrate any evidence that what you're saying is true 110%. And then you were like, yeah, I can provide you evidence that what I'm saying about this infographic here is true. That evidence would be somebody that I know that works for one of these federal agencies. And also, for everybody in the chat saying that you cut him off, you didn't let him finish.
You
I'm
did.
so sorry. Yeah, I didn't let him finish because he said what you're saying was false. Why would I let him?
Literally.
Like why? What was the purpose
Exactly.
being allowing him to finish? To make like an entirely
What's the
new
point?
claim from a new person about a new argument when the only reason he was supposed to be on the stream in the first place was to come up here and justify what you were saying?
Exactly.
Come on, bro.
Santana,
Yeah,
What's the point of having him here?
listen, yeah, tell Joker or whatever the hell his name is to get in the queue to become one of the other Trump supporters to maybe debate me after I finish debating you.
okay,
Right?
Santana, Massa has muted me twice now. Like, are we gonna tap dance and let Massa?
Slayer, stop it, because I mute you and you've never called me master. You've literally never done that. And how many times have I muted you?
I've been on your panel twice, Santana.
And
What the
how
fuck
many
are you
times have I
talking
muted
about?
you?
Never.
How many times have I muted?
Never.
I've-
You've
stop
never
it,
muted
Slayer.
me.
I've
You've
muted you
never
on my
muted me.
panel. I've muted you on other panels. I've never heard you say that towards any other creator. No black creators, but for some reason you're doing this right now because you're in the space with a white creator. Stop being disingenuous, Slayer.
Santana, I don't think you would
Stop
hear
it.
when Dean said that black culture was slavery.
Okay, I didn't even say
What?
that. Now you're attempting to like misrepresent things that I said. Like, dude, you were fucking vile for that shit. Like, dude, what the hell are you doing? You are embarrassing yourself so fucking badly to the extent where now you have to be like super hyperbolic, absolutely insane, misrepresent, and like falsely conject that I said things I didn't. That is embarrassing for you. Is this really the route that you want to take?
What are we
bro?
doing, Slayer?
Get
You're
absolutely
better than
cooked,
this.
cooked in a debate, and then like like try to like tell everybody, tell the crowds that I said something I didn't. Completely disingenuous. Right now, Ray,
Dean.
I want to ask you: do you understand why I kicked Joker?
No, I really don't. Even the chat doesn't know.
Okay, do you want me to explain it to you?
Sure, go ahead. It's not going to change the outcome.
It's because I asked you to provide evidence for your claim. You said that your evidence would be somebody that you know that works for a federal agency. I had him up here. He told me that it had never happened to him. He served his purpose, and I kicked him.
Got it. So you intentionally didn't let him finish his claim. You cut him off, and then you kicked him. You just wanted a gotcha moment.
Wait,
did-
Slayer,
Wait, 1
Slayer,
second. I just
if-
want to clarify. He did finish his claim. He did say that had never happened to him, right?
No. He was in the middle of stating how it was applying to the promotions and what was taught in them, and you were like, boo.
Oh,
But
but keep
that
in
wasn't
mind.
the claim,
Yeah, but that
Slayer.
wasn't the claim. You made the claim that individuals were being served an infographic where they were being taught that white people were
Yes.
timely and black people weren't timely.
Yes.
Yes, I was told you that they've gotten the training from this infographic.
Yes,
100%.
you said that training occurred. He came up and said that was not a thing, but they actually went through a promotion system where they tried to make it seem as if they were promoting people of color, so there wouldn't be any type
then-
of judgment. That has nothing to do with your claim. That was
Santana,
not
and
your
then-
claim.
Wait,
Right, like-
Santana,
Slayer, that's not your claim.
Right, like-
are you changing your claim now?
Yeah, like Slayer, like could you be like intellectually honest and like tell me why he was even on the stream in the first place? Like what was he on the stream for? Was he on the stream to make like a new argument? Or was he on the stream to apparently be your evidence for your argument?
thank you for unmuting me, boss. Like I was saying, you told me to provide evidence,
For what?
and I did.
Provide evidence for
Yes,
what?
for the claim that this infographic was utilized as a part of the teaching as a part of 13985.
Exactly.
Correct? We're tracking, right? As a
That's
part of
perfect.
13985.
I didn't mute you.
That was me that time, Slayer.
Dude.
What do you think about that one?
Yeah.
I think you're tap dancing for massa now.
Stop being disingenuous.
So far, Slayer, everything that you've said is accurate, right? The reason he was up was to provide evidence for your claim that this infographic was being used to teach people in the military that white people are timely and black people aren't. I have a question. When I asked him if he even knew about this infographic or if he had been like sat down and been told this infographic when he was hiring, what did he say?
He said no.
So
then what's the point of him being here?
perfect.
He was getting to it, and then y'all both cut him off.
Wait, are you saying he was going to pull a no, but yes?
He was going to pull a explaining where the context of this graphic comes into play.
Oh, so he was going to pull like a no, but yes.
Sure, if you want to call it that, why not?
But
Okay, let's
even
get
if
it
there
back up
was
here.
quote unquote context,
Go ahead, Satya.
even if there was quote unquote context, it still does not negate the point that you made. The actual claim that you made is not true. It's not accurate. Now, can you concede on the point that you made before he pivots to something different?
Sure, if we want to concede upon that point, why not?
Okay, perfect.
Okay. So thank you for admitting that you made a baseless claim with no
It's not
evidence.
baseless.
What's the base?
The base is the fact that this graphics told you that white people are the only people that can be on time, and that the trainings
is the
that
base?
partake in the military.
Yeah, where are we getting the base for that this was like used to train people in the military? What's the evidence for that?
If you bring the fucking guy up, Dean.
Oh, sure. Yeah, hop back in the queue. So maybe he's going to say that he personally never was taught this graphic, but like other people were? Yeah, sure. Where can I find him?
Yeah, Joker 1911. You just had him up here.
Okay. Could you tell him to get back in the queue?
Sure, give me 1 second.
Yeah, make sure to text him and make sure to tell him to like find a way to explain this infographic. Make sure you tell him to like bring up the infographic.
Why would I have somebody live for me? That's weird.
Well, I mean,
It's not that you
would've
had
put a
someone to
basket.
come up to actually lie for you. You had someone to come up to pivot for you. That's actually what just happened.
okay. So I invited Joker up and he actually just left. He loaded it in and then left.
He said that he was in the queue.
Okay. We'll try again.
Maybe he was at the same time.
He's connecting.
Okay.
There he is. Hey, Joker. So, I mean, just to clarify, before I kicked you, you told us that, like, you never had to learn that white people are timely and black people aren't, right?
It wasn't that specific example before you kicked me.
Okay, so,
But we did learn about differences between how, white people are, more privileged than minorities. And we had to sit down in a meeting in a group talk and actually talk about that to understand where our service members, our brothers and sisters in arms, and where they come from. But it was never about, white people or where they came from.
Good.
Wait, so
I just-
you went through a... I'm
ahead.
sorry, go ahead, Dean.
Like white people.
No, I was just about to say, wait, Joker, so you went through a bias training?
Yes, to me it was extremely biased.
Yeah, no. An
White
actual bias training. Literally every company in the country makes you do those types of training. That's literally just a biasy training.
right.
Sure, but
like,
that's
that's
also very
standard practice.
disingenuous.
But like
It's very
now, I
disingenuous
want to hone in.
to other
I
that have actually
Joker.
gone through that as
I want to
well.
make it clear. I'm not here to debate you. I'm here to debate Slayer. However, Slayer's claim was that people in the military are being taught that white people are timely and that black people are not timely. And then when I was like, "Hey, Slayer, do you have any evidence for this?" He pointed to you.
Well, we were taught that, it's people of color or minority groups that came from these backgrounds. Like it was like an assumption on culture, which is kind of fucked up, and that we need to treat them like kind of like respect their color almost, even though we don't ever look at each other as color. It's all the same color. It's all green.
Okay, so
It's
so
kind
you're
of weird when
telling
they
me-
started implementing those policies. But here's what's crazy about it: when we were doing this training,
one
though,
second.
nobody asked.
Joker,
Nobody
Joker,
asked about
Joker,
anybody
Joker.
else. You're good.
We're not here to allow you to rant about like really good like bias training where you sat down and you talked to other individuals about where they came from, where you came from. We're here to
was
talk
good.
about if Slayer's claim was true or not. So I just want to be clear. I'm going to ask a very specific and direct question. Do you have any knowledge whatsoever, specifically, right, about this infographic that Slayer showed us being forcefully taught to new hirees, right, in the military, with the takeaway being that white people are timely and black people are not timely. Do you have any specific knowledge?
I mean, it was a different example than that, but I mean, it was very similar to
Okay,
that.
I'm just asking you. Listen, do you have any specific knowledge of what Rager said about the Smithsonian infographic being forcefully taught to everybody in the military about how black people are not timely and white people
You're
are?
strawmanning right now, honestly, and it's
I'm
honestly
gonna go
ridiculous
crazy.
because
I'm
just because the
strawmanning.
example,
Answer my goddamn question,
because
Joker.
the example is different doesn't mean it's not.
It absolutely changes everything. Because, Joker, your purpose
Actually, that's-
on this panel is literally just to serve as evidence for Slayer's claim. I'm not going to let you push me around like that, okay? The fact of the matter is, shut down. The fact of the matter is, Slayer, or whatever the hell his name is, made the claim that because of Biden's executive order, this infographic is being shoved down the throats of people in federal agencies where they're being taught that white people are timely and black people aren't. I asked Slayer what his evidence was, and he said his evidence was you. You, sir, are not here to debate me. You, sir, are here to be evidence for Slayer's claim. I'm not debating you. If you want to debate me, get in line. You are only on this live because Slayer said that you're here as evidence for his claim. So, sir, do you have any awareness whatsoever of this infographic that Slayer was showing to us, like saying that white people are timely and black people are not timely? And was this taught to you or anybody that you know in the military with the use of the infographic that he showed?
It was a similar infographic.
Okay. Yes
So
or
the
no
answer's
question?
no.
Is the answer no?
So the answer is no.
It's to the point.
No. So the answer is no.
Smithsonian one.
Is the answer no?
Y'all, no, not that one specifically.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Joker,
Slayer.
you were literally a
But
trust
we're
me, bro,
somewhere
and you
there.
couldn't even be trusted.
Dean
Like,
asked for a trust.
you were a
Okay.
trust me, bro, that couldn't be trusted.
Okay, back to you, Slayer. You said that you had evidence that this infographic was being taught to people to attempt to convince them that white people are timely and black people are not timely. You told me that your evidence was this random guy named Joker that I brought up to confirm and verify your claim. He said that he has no clue what your claim is about, and he was never personally taught that, and he doesn't know anybody else that was either. So what is your evidence that people in federal agencies were sat down, shown this infographic, and told to think that white people are timely and black people aren't?
He just told you before you booted him that it wasn't the exact graphic, but he was taught that white people are timely. And then he was
Said that he went through a biasy training. He literally said that he went through a biasy training, which is a standard training, Slayer. Stop it. Everyone goes through biasy trainings.
Santana, biasy training. Wait. Santana, biasy training and saying white people have privilege are not biases. Like, that's the most absurd thing
One
ever.
second. I'm so sorry. Okay, he did not say that he was taught that white people are timely. In fact, he said that he wasn't.
Yeah, he did.
He agreed
just
when
told
I
you it
said,
wasn't
so
the
you
same
went through a
graphic,
biasy
but he
training?
did.
Slayer, I said, so you're telling me you went through a biasy training? He said, yes, I went through a biasy training.
Okay.
About privilege. That's not biasy training, Santana.
Listen, Slayer, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up, man.
Sure.
I want you to provide me a single source, right, from any reputable institution, reputable media outlet, reporting that people in the military are taught that white people are timely and black people aren't timely.
Okay, yeah. I mean, like, I haven't researched into news organizations, so if you want to rap, we can rap.
Is there
bro.
any reporting? Is there any verification for your claim whatsoever?
I just told you I had people in the service that told me this. I haven't looked into it in any news article.
Yeah, he came up and said otherwise.
Yeah, so
So
he
I
told you
just want
that.
to clarify that you have no verifiable independent evidence that this is true whatsoever.
Just told you that part of the argument was in there, and that you said it has to be the exact infographic. And if you're contending,
No, I just want to clarify. Do you have any verifiable independent evidence that people in the military are taught that white people are timely and black people aren't?
yeah. So you just told, yeah, he just told you what?
Okay. Well, first and foremost, he didn't tell us that. But even he did tell us
No,
that,
he
that
said
would it be
the
verifiable and
infographics.
independent?
Wait, he just told you the infographic, and before you kicked him, his last words were it was a different graphic that was taught that.
Okay. First and foremost, I'm going to repeat this one last time. I specifically asked him not just about the infographic, but if he or anybody else was taught that white people are timely and black people are not timely. And then to that, he responded, no. right? But he was like something similar, talking about white privilege and like where we come from, which isn't similar at all, right? Because one is racist, one isn't racist. Now, I'm also going to clarify here that even if he did say that this was something that he was taught, it wouldn't be verifiable nor independent, right? So I'm asking you for verifiable, independent evidence that this thing is taught to service members. How many service members are there?
Thousands.
Many more than that, sir. Why is he the only person supposedly talking about this?
Dude, I don't have a million military friends. Why is this the hill you want to unalive on?
Why is there no documented proof of it?
Why is there no Yes, exactly. Where's the documented proof for this occurring?
I guess it wouldn't look right if the administration is telling you that only white people can be on time for things. Do you really think that that's something the news wants to cover? This leftist media that we live in?
You know, you can access like different military trainings, like certain standards and trainings they have. You know, you can get access to know those things. Like that's documented information.
Right. Then, by the way,
you mean like through a FOIA request? You mean like through a FOIA request?
Then also, just by the way, if what you're saying was true, we would see people talking about this. Absolutely. Okay. Fox News would be running rampant with it. Elon Musk, Elon Musk loves to talk about, quote unquote, like how the left is so disingenuous and hypocritical. Elon Musk would be tweeting about this every day. Like Trump would have made this a campaigning point for him. He would have said, the left, the same party that started slavery, is now perpetuating racism to this very day. They want you to think that black people are lazy and that white people are timely. Just look at the terrible policy of Biden and Harris and how it causes in the military. We didn't see that from him. We didn't see that from Elon. We didn't see that from Fox. We didn't see that from Newsmax. We didn't see that from anybody. And we even didn't hear it from this guy in the military with 2 followers that you had me bring on live that in fact testified, although he's your friend, although he has a bias towards you, that he's never seen this goddamn infographic in his goddamn life. So quite frankly, Slayer, right now, you are getting absolutely fucking destroyed in the context of this debate as you were proponing a position with no evidence, no support, and it is embarrassing. I'm kind of done with this because I think that you, him, and a lot of the other Trump supporters watching the live in the chat right now have been trying to convince me that I'm going crazy for thinking that you have not successfully demonstrated your point to be bearing of evidence. So I'm going to give you exactly one last chance to do that before I kick you and move on.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I got a new infographic. Hold on.
Sure. While Lee pulls it out, I just want to call to the attention that, like, literally, quick Google search, I was able to find the U.S. Naval Institute, their biasy training. The training was created by Lieutenant Commander David Esselback of the U.S. Navy. This was created in July of 2021. It's volume 147/7/1, comma 421. And it gives the information, the premise as far as why it's needed, the point of the actual biasy training, the different points that are highlighted, and the resources behind the actual training. So literally, no, you don't need a FOIA to actually find out the biasy trainings that the military has. It's easily acceptable.
Dude, this guy's getting fucking destroyed. Oh my God. It's kind of satisfying. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I kind of started to feel a little gaslit there. You know, like he was like trying
Slayer does.
He was like trying to convince me that like he had evidence for what he was saying. So are you like you're just making shit up, dude?
I'm not making anything up, Massa. I've just been muted all the time, and I think
on, Slayer.
Dude,
get off of it.
Now
dude.
you're back to calling me quote unquote Massa and complaining about me.
You just mute me, Massa. I want to respect you, Massa.
Again, I muted you and you didn't call me. Why am I not Massa?
You a tap dancer. I didn't call you Massa.
Okay.
Though.
Okay. So I'm a tap dancer because I muted you.
Yeah, you following Massa's lead.
Fuck out of here, first. Slayer. Stop
Love
it.
you, Santana.
You're getting cooked.
Wait, why are you leaving?
You're trying to pivot.
He left. Oh my God. Dude, that one was rough.
Oh.
That one was rough. I'm not going to lie. So I think that we get like a bunch of different guests up on this live. Like, obviously. Obviously. And like different Trump supporters are either like especially like tolerable for some reasons. Like maybe somebody's coming up here with an open mind. They want to have a good dialogue. other Trump supporters are like especially like intolerable for other reasons. You know, like or like the first debate of the day, we had some like crazy dude up that was just like interrupting me every sentence, total pseudo intellectual, completely intolerable. That's like one flavor of the MAGA intolerability. But I feel like this is a new flavor of MAGA intolerability that I really haven't come across before, where they are making shit up that is just so detached from reality, has like no grounding in anything that's true. Not even like kind of true, but not all the way true. Like Donald Trump would say like, oh, the inflation under Biden was caused by Biden. That was half true because we had inflation under Biden. No, he was just making shit up. Oh, this executive order that Biden signed into law, you know, like forced everybody in the military to go through training, sat down by their superiors where they were told that white people are timely and black people aren't timely. Just completely made up. A complete fictitious delusion. There's literally more evidence that the earth was flat or that Bush did 9/11 than for whatever the hell that guy was arguing. But then he spent the next hour trying to find absolutely any way to prove that this complete delusion was true. I mean, he would have seriously had like a easier time convincing me that like I'm living in Portugal, right? Because, you know, I'm in fucking Colorado. He would have had an easier time convincing me that I'm in goddamn Portugal right now than convincing me that the military was telling people that black people aren't timely. Like, oh my God. Very insufferable.
The wild thing to me is like, this is the first time I've ever heard you accept the trust me, bro. And he couldn't even come through with the trust me, bro. Like,
yeah.
The first time I've ever, you literally gave him a trust me, bro, and he couldn't even get it off. What are we doing? Holy smokes.
Well, see, like, yeah, like the plan there with like me accepting his trust me bro was to have the trust me bro up here, right? Just like peddle whatever lies he was, and then to like ask him like specific questions about it, to like, you know, pick holes in his theory here because it's just a lie and ultimately embarrass them both. But like even his trust me bro ended up saying that like, no, I'm not familiar with this. Never happened to me.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a couple people that I gotta thank here. There's not too many. Well, actually, Haley, thank you so much. Sorry, not Haley, Harley. Thank you for the $15 over on Venmo. Harley says, I don't understand how you deal with these MAGA motherfuckers. I hope that you have a good day and that this could be used to pay for some coffee. Thank you, Harley. Show some love to Harley down below in that chat. As well as Joni, thank you for the 3. Catherine, thank you for the 5. Sakuro, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. Thank you so much, Sakuro. If I'm butchering the hell out of your name, I do apologize. I'm just going to call you S instead. As well as Kay, thank you for the $10 on Venmo. Kay with the $10 says, thank you for all of your hard work in dealing with these fucking willingly uneducated brainwashed people. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much. As well as Stephanie, thank you for the 5. And Jake, thank you for the 5. I would also like to very quickly thank Dell, thank you for the $15 over on PayPal as well. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Dell says the training slayer was claiming I was never taught in the Navy. I served under Biden as a master at arms. We were not taught that. I can also come up as a guest to prove him wrong if need be. Yeah, well, honestly, if I saw that during the debate, I might have brought you up. That would have been pretty great. As well as Lisa, thank you so much for the $50 over on PayPal. Holy shit, Lisa. Let's get 500 big Lisa W's down below in that comment section. Lisa with a $50 says, here's $50 to put towards therapy you must need after dealing with these incredibly clueless MAGA doofuses. Keep on keeping on. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that. And you know what? I am going to have to put that towards therapy after that conversation with Slayer. Like, I am beat after that conversation, man. I am fucking tired, dude. And as well as Goda, thank you so much for the $20 on PayPal. Momo, thank you for the 20 cents. I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. And anyways,
two quick ones if you don't
Go
mind.
ahead.
Mahika, thank you for the 1. Yeah, like the point that I wanted to come up on is he was saying like Mahika says, I'm South Asian. I can assure you race has culture. I completely agree. I was definitely pushing back on him on that one. And Mariah, thank you for the 2. Yes, that's the Slayer that did that. You're absolutely right. But no.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, Santana, I appreciate you for coming up. It was good seeing you, as usual.
Likewise.
Take care.
See you later.
Take care. I mean, I actually really appreciate Santana being here for being able to help me out with more information about DEIA. Santana's incredibly educated on DEIA, and that's definitely a field where I could do more research myself. But anyways, all right, everyone. We've been live for 4.5 hours. I'm like so tired after that conversation with Slayer. God, you know, the way that I like to think about it the way that I feel mentally right now is imagine that your task with digging a hole in the ground, right? But like the ground is like pavement. No matter like how many times you hit the ground with the shovel because it's pavement, you're never going to break dirt. You're not going to make any progress whatsoever. It doesn't matter, right, how much physical energy you exert. It doesn't matter how much force you put into it. It doesn't matter what you do. You're not going to make any progress. And imagine doing that for like an hour and a half straight. That's how I feel after that last conversation with Slayer. So I'm going to go lay on my couch and have a brain break and take the rest of the night off. Peace and love, everyone. Parker's going to be on soon. I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully with some better debates. I'm not going to lie. The debates today sucked. Terrible day. But